Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day. How's your week going so far? I hope it's going well. It's been a hectic week for me, I'll tell you what. But still, driving along, trying to get things going here, and appreciate everybody who joins in today. Don't forget, smash up that like button. Appreciate that. And subscribe and tick that bell icon if you're new and have not already subscribed. Appreciate that very much. Let's see who we got in the chat here. Mike, first in the chat. Good afternoon, sir. Appreciate you being here as always. And Chris, good morning, sir. Appreciate you as always. How did everybody make out with the eclipse? Everybody do good? Did you get out there with your glasses and go check everything out? I hope so. Hope you had a good time. Really appreciate that. And, today we're going to be talking about what I think is just an unfortunate situation in the regulatory space as far as the U.S. is concerned with regard to a lack of clarity and framework with regard to crypto, stable coins, etc. And one of the items we're going to be talking about is some stablecoin legislation that I talked about in a live stream, I don't know, a couple of months ago now, I think, where the House Financial Services Committee, led by Congressman McHenry, basically passed out into the entirety of Congress a bill to help legislate a framework for stable coins. And we're going to talk more about that later because I want to lead up to that because honestly, we definitely need a framework, and whether or not, you're in the US or not, I mean, no matter where you are, it needs to be some regulatory framework in order for, people to be able to access things the right way and such, you know what I mean? And allow for businesses, investment firms, whatever, to be able to come into the space. Chris made out amazing. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Tech Man, glad to see you here, my friend. Glad to see you. And 100 Air, appreciate you. Good morning, everybody. Thanks, guys, for being here. Appreciate. Whoops. Take that off the screen so we can take a look at the markets. There we go. I think I need more coffee. What do you think? Cheers. And no Baileys in the coffee for those who were here on Monday. Although you did kind of tick something in the brain, so I might be doing that for later. But anyway, that's a conversation for another time. Maybe on Crypto on the Rocks this Friday, 7 p.m. As always. All right, let's get the markets up on the screen. Let me refresh that page so we can get the latest numbers here. And let me make sure that that's, there you go. You know what? Let me do it this way. That way you can see it better. And as always, let's put up the not financial advice because Lord knows. Hey, I understand, Tech Man. Working but lurking. Appreciate you being here. Yeah. And you're right, 100 Air. There is zero wrong with Bailey. Zero. That's why after you guys kind of like put that in my head, I'm thinking, okay, maybe for next week. We'll see. Anyway, all right, let's take a quick look here at the markets. So Bitcoin looking at 68,195, 159. Holy dyslexia. Still below the 70K mark, a little bit of weakness, but overall still up just over 3% in the last 7 days. Ethereum 34.57, up 4.5% in the last 7 days. BNB looking good, up 5% in the last 7 days, 583.66. Although overall, that is down a little bit from its recent high that we saw over the $600 mark. Solana wow, look at this. Solana down 11.6% over the last 7 days, almost 5% of that in the last 24 hours, down to 165.62. I mean, I have not done the investigation into it, but I did see some reports of some issues on Solana again. I don't know the deets, so I'm not going to talk about it. Feel free to enlighten me in the comments if you're aware. but I am not versed enough to talk intelligently, so I will not talk. XRP looking good at 60 cents, still up almost 4% over the last week. Excuse me. Dogecoin, look at this. I mean, when we were here on Monday, Dogecoin was like 20 cents. So it's down a little bit since Monday, but still up 4% over the last 7 days at 18.5 cents. I mean, Toncoin, again, the whole Telegram coin thing, 35% up. Cardano, 56 cents, almost 57 cents. Still down overall. And again, I'm still of the mindset it needs to take another knee before it's thinking about going back up there. AVAX down almost 4.5% in the last 24 hours, 45.97. Honestly, I still don't think that's necessarily a bad buy for AVAX. BCH, again, I like it for what it's meant to be. Buy what you need to buy with the Bitcoin Cash. 610.99. Tron holding in that 11-cent mark. That seems to be its sweet spot, quite frankly, for Tron. Chainlink down 4.5%, 17.11. But again, below $20 for Link. I still see it as a good buy. Again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, old guy, interwebs. But that's what I think. Matic down 3.5% over the week, down 86 to 86 cents. And hey, under $1. Again, still, in my opinion, not a bad price for Matic. ICP, for those who like ICP, 15.49, down over 17% in the last week, almost 9% in the last 24 hours. And Litecoin finally back under $100, down almost 6% in the last week at 95.12. Again, I use that to pay for my VPN, so I can remain anonymous with my VPN service. And if you're interested in what I use, it's Torguard VPN, link in the description of the live stream. You can use that link. You get 50% off whatever you pick, and you can use crypto, and they don't need any of your info. So anyway, that's what I do. Filecoin, looking, honestly, all things being equal, even though it's down 8.5% in the last 24 hours, still a good price of Filecoin at 8.31. Stacks, if you're looking into additional BTC layers right here, 303, just holding on to that $3 mark. Down overall. Let's keep going. Stellar XLM, 12.7 cents, down 5% in the last 24 hours. Pretty much everything's down in the last 24 hours. People taking some profits. And you know what? While they're taking profits, I was dollar cost averaging in. So I got myself, as far as I'm concerned, a good price with regard to Bitcoin and my DCA into that today. Hey, Automatic Beats in the house. Welcome, sir. Welcome. Appreciate you being here as always. All right. Immutable X, $2.56, down in that 6 cent. Wow. 6% range overall. Render, $8.99. So it's down below the $9 mark right now. Overall down around 5 to 6%, depending if you're looking over the week or the last 24 hours. All right. Whiff. Got to stop, right? $3.37, down 13% in the last 7 days, 14% in the last 24 hours. H-bar, I'm sorry. Goodbye for H-bar right here at as it's hanging barely onto that 10-cent mark. And if all goes well, tomorrow I'll be dropping an update video on my staking rewards from H-bar in the Hashpack wallet. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. If all editing goes well, that will be dropping at some point tomorrow. All right, let's keep going here. Caspa, 13.5 cents, up overall in the last 7 days, down in the last 24 hours like everything else. VChain, I like it for just over 4 cents. Split the difference, 3 up, 3 down, depending on the time frame you're looking at. Injective, down 4% overall, both time frames, $32.36. Pepe, if you're into Pepe, if you're part of that whole community right there, down overall, but still in that 5-cent area. Monero, I like Monero privacy coins. I think they're going to be huge, especially coming next year. Up over the last 7 days, almost 7%, 132.21. Thorchain, going to be huge. I just can't even express in my head how huge I think it's going to be. $7.06, down overall, almost 7%, regardless of the time frame. Let's take a quick look at Gala, because that's one of the items you can vote for this Friday, 7 p.m. Crypto on the Rocks. Down 10%, almost 11% last 24 hours. Holy moly. 57 cents for Gala. Let's see what else we got here. Anything else I want to touch base on? You know what? I think we'll call it there, and we'll get into the topics of the day, as it were. Okay. They're talking about some other stuff in the chat. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And okay. So basically, I know most of the people that I have watching right now are in the United States, so you understand exactly where I'm coming from and what I'm about to say. But regardless, you follow, no matter where you are, probably different news coming out of the United States, especially with the anti-crypto army and all this other shit with Elizabeth Warren. So basically today I want to highlight the dichotomy that's going on. And as I put it in the description of this live stream, it's like the government is just bipolar on this shit. And again, it's because there are entities trying to influence what's going on. Again, the last bill that Warren submitted, and again, link, I don't know if I did the live stream links in this live stream, but I did a couple of live streams with regard to that, and told you that she basically reached out to the banking association to write the bill for her. And that wasn't supposed to come out, obviously. That was a snafu that came out at a fundraiser from her co-sponsor of the bill, who then after that said, "That's all I know about crypto." It's just hilarious to me how these people jump on board things without even realizing what they're saying. Warren, on the other hand, I think completely realizes what she's saying. She's totally trying to placate her masters at this point. And, in this case, that's the banking association. And maybe the FJB administration, but that's a whole nother animal right there. Whoops, sorry, pressing wrong buttons as we go. Sorry about that. All right, so let's take a look at the first thing I want to highlight here. Yesterday there was testimony in front of the Senate Finance Committee, who is headed by Warren, by the Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, and I'll screw up his name later as we're going through this. Basically, where he is saying that, well, you know what? Let's just go read it. So you don't need me to paraphrase. Let's just go look at it. Okay. So basically, he did a written report to the hearing, and Deputy Secretary Adewale Adiemo, and I'm sorry, I'm sure I'm butchering that name, but there it is. Basically, the nutshell here, he said, our problem is that actors are increasingly finding ways to hide their identities and move resources using virtual currency. Well, that's all interesting and plays to their narrative, but let's be honest about things. The US dollar is what's used to keep anonymity and in greater quantities. Because again, most of us in this space and that are on this live stream know that if you are a criminal, the last thing you want to do is leave an everlasting trail on a blockchain. But if you listen to Elizabeth Warren and you listen to everyone under her thumb, including Gary Gensler, hence the reason why we get no clarity from him. All we get is, regulation through enforcement action. And The reason is they want to wipe this industry out until they can get the entire thing, if they even let the entire thing live, under their thumb. The problem is that eventually the US isn't going to be the one that is the power. There will be a power vacuum with regard to this once the US dollar is no longer the world reserve currency and basically collapses. But again, they don't necessarily look that far ahead in their thinking. And he went further on to say, and you know what, let me just highlight it. So you, ooh, look at that. It highlights in red. Who knew? So I'm not going to let that go because you can't really see that. Anyway, he further stated that malicious players like terrorists always seek new ways to move their resources in light of the actions we are taking to cut them off from accessing the traditional financial system. And again, how many banks have been penalized millions and billions of dollars in fines for allowing laundering to go on, and even for terrorist activities? The list is long, and I'll let you do your own research with regard to that. But yet, if you were to believe these people like Elizabeth Warren and everyone under her thumb, you would think that, oh my God, you know, this is Silk Road times a gazillion. No, it's not. No, it's not. Matter of fact, many terrorist organizations, as you already know if you're here, don't want donations in crypto. They're too easily trackable. And then one other piece I wanted to point out here. The U.S. Treasury further pointed out that Iran's Quds Force, I don't know, I'm probably butchering that as well, has been funding militant groups of Hamas as well as the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in Gaza in cryptocurrency. And I'm going to end that right there. Now, I think that there was some proving of that, but again, to a very minuscule, like less than 1% point versus the US dollar. Again, these terrorists don't want shit in cryptocurrency too easy to track. But, you know, they point out Iran here, and she went into, if you go see the entirety of that hearing that she was that we're referring to here in this article, she was sitting there telling, you know, well, what if Iran's running a node and, you know, they're making money and blah, 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 blah. Well, what's the difference if you're shipping pallets of US dollars to them in the middle of the night and denying the action? Hello. Ain't like that ain't happened. Please. All right. So let's keep going here. A little bit more about Lizbeth. She then, because remember, a lot of what's going on whoops, hold on one second. Sorry about that. Is regarding the stablecoin legislation put it together in Congress on the congressional side. And she basically took the time to send a letter to McHenry and what do you call it? Yeah, Maxine Waters, which that's a whole nother animal right there. But basically right here, a letter obtained by Politico, Warren targeted efforts by committee chair Patrick McHenry and Representative Maxine Waters to navigate the complex $157 billion stablecoin market toward regulation, cautioning against the potential risks to the banking system and national security. It's always about national security and, of course, about the banking system. And here's the thing. In the United States, and nobody ever points this out, you know, I keep highlighting it all the time. Probably, I'm going to go on 4 years ago now. I think it was pre-COVID, so maybe 5 years ago now. The OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency in the United States, already gave permission for banks to run stablecoin nodes. So that interconnection between the banking system and stablecoins has existed now for years. Okay, 4 years. But yet you've got Warren over here saying, oh my God, it's going to ruin the banking system. Well, what it's going to do is provide people an opportunity to be outside of the banking system, albeit still in a more perhaps centralized manner. Hey, Patrick, good morning. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. So to the point, you know, she's basically beating on something with, again, national security, which is a crock of shit, at least as far as this is concerned, and risk to the banking system. Yes, the risk to the banking system is, guess what? The banking system will become like useless. Anyway, let's check out this last 2 points, and then we'll jump over here for a second. Highlighting the precarious nature of integrating stablecoins more deeply into the financial system. There's the point, more deeply, because again, OCC has already approved banks to be able to run stablecoin nodes. Warren stated that efforts to create new regulatory framework around the $157 billion stablecoin market, including those that aim to fold stablecoins deeper into the banking sector, could amplify and entrench these risks rather than mitigate them. So basically what she's saying is you could screw the banks by actually putting out a regulatory framework for stablecoins that, again, banks are already running nodes for. So if you were to take this at face value, you'd be like, oh, well, she's just trying to make sure that the banks and the banking system and our economy does well. No, this is her back-ended way of trying to circumvent regulation and eliminate a legitimate market. Let's look at one more section here. She further implored, quote, I urge you to remember the gravity of these risks as your committee considers proposals to regulate stablecoins and avoid introducing stablecoin legislation that holds the potential of unleashing another financial crisis. Stablecoin legislation isn't what's going to unleash another financial crisis. Our near $35 trillion of national debt that is increasing by $1 trillion every 90 days is what is going to contribute to the next financial crisis. But again, if you were to believe her, like this integration is going to bust everything. Well, the only thing it's going to bust is the banking associations and the central bank's ability to be able to manipulate the market like by free range. So here she is taking up her anti-crypto position, taking time to write a letter to the House Financial Services Committee, basically saying, stop what you're doing. Please don't create regulation that will actually help us. Because again, Warren is no friend of cryptocurrency. Trying to live off the banking system. I'm just going to pull this up real quick. 100 Air. There is a video I'll share later this week about George Gammon going to Argentina to try and live off the banking system, i.e. opt out of potential CBDCs by using gold, silver, Bitcoin, and cash. Okay, perfect. I would love to see that. Thank you. Please do share that with us. Appreciate that. And the results were not as expected. Okay, great. I want to see it. I want to see it. Please make sure you share that with us, 100 Air. Thank you for putting that out there. Anyway, as you know, Elizabeth Warren has other people running against her for her Senate seat that'll be in the election this November. There are two now Republican candidates running. One is John Deaton, who anybody who's been in the cryptocurrency space is more than aware of, involved with the Ripple case, done a lot of other good works here in the space, as well as other sectors for his clients. And there's another guy, and you want the truth, I don't even know his name because he's nothing more than a Democratic plant to run against him. As a matter of fact, that's kind of already been pointed out in all the pictures you see of him with all Warren and all her Democratic cronies. Now, again, politics are what they are, and that's just Warren's way of trying to split the vote and, take eyes off the fact that Deaton keeps hitting her with questions and information that any common sense person should be like, oh, yeah, why is she doing that? Because, again, she was elected to the Senate on the platform of, I'm going to fight for the little guy against the big banks and yada, yada, yada. And now here she is having the Banking Association write her latest anti-crypto legislation bill. So for those who live in Massachusetts, and I do know that I have a few people right now on this stream who live in Massachusetts, I would very much, yes, I do hope that they send Pocahontas packing. That's so funny. I love it. I love it. Yeah, there are a lot of people. If you're not already familiar with John Deaton, you really need to. There's a link to his campaign website in the description of this live stream. Now, this tweet I'm about to show you from him the link is not in the description because I honestly came across it shortly before the live stream, so I wasn't able to add it in. But I just want to, again, kind of point it out because I think it gives you the depth of difference between Elizabeth Warren and John Deaton in this case. So we're going to just read what he's got here. I just read Elizabeth Warren's letter to Patrick McHenry and Maxine Waters addressing the FSC's efforts to introduce a stablecoin bill. My first question to Senator Warren is whether Jamie Dimon and the Banking Policy Institute wrote this letter similar to the way they wrote her anti-crypto bill. I wouldn't mind her answering that question because they did. I mean, come on. Again, masters. She's in their pockets. Just is. Otherwise, she wouldn't be touting. Anyway, sorry. Cheers. More coffee. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. Oh, sorry. Let's make that full screen again. Why is Elizabeth Warren running interference on bipartisan efforts to reduce friction, improve efficiencies, and protect customers? Which is exactly what a regulatory framework, in this case for stablecoins, would do. Why is she running that interference? Again, that's what the people who line her pockets want her to do. It is literally that simple. Sometimes, simplicity. And he points out what I've already said. Over a decade ago, Elizabeth Warren went to D.C. promising she would hold the banking industry accountable. Today, she has effectively become the industry's biggest lobbyist. And it goes on where he puts the bill here from Alexander Grieve. Again, that's literal truth right there. She has literally become the lobbyist for the banking system. No doubt about that. So if you live in Massachusetts and you're not already familiar with John Deaton, link to his campaign website in the description of this live stream. Please go over there, check that out, and consider giving a donation. I already gave my crypto donation, and for those who are going to give a donation in crypto, you will be taken through Coinbase to do that. Whether you have a Coinbase account or not, that doesn't matter. You'll have to do KYC information in order to send that information because political donations. And in this case, cryptocurrency, it goes through Coinbase, processes it, and then gets him that donation. The whole process took me maybe 10 minutes, mostly because of, allowing for transfer of funds. Okay. So if you're not aware, go check out John Deaton. If nothing else, he is a cryptocurrency advocate. We need common sense cryptocurrency advocates in DC. And the only way we're going to get them there is if we elect them there. And for those in Massachusetts, I'm sorry, Elizabeth Warren has long outlived her usefulness in the Senate and is obviously there. I mean, come on, do the research. She's worth what? Gets paid what? Go check it out. All right. Now, speaking of common sense legislation, the letter that Warren sent was directed here because, and now this is why, and this is where I was kind of like, okay, what, talk about bipolar, and I get it. No legislator, no elected officials always agree on everything. I understand that. So please don't misunderstand what it is that I'm saying here. But like, there needs to be a conversation rather than trying to just, divide people with regard to the cryptocurrency regulations that are needed. And in this particular case, the bill that came out of the House Services Committee, again, I did a live stream on it. I'm sorry, I forgot to put that link in this, the description of this live stream. But basically, it was regulations, a framework for stable coins here in the US. Now, since that has come out of committee and gone into the entire Congress for debate and so on, it's gotten like bogged down. Again, by people who are probably sympathetic to Elizabeth Warren or the banking industry as a whole, who are, again, trying to otherwise stop this from happening. And I guess that, for most of the people who are sitting here on this live stream, that we need some kind of regulation. We need to be able to stop this regulation through enforcement actions that are coming from Gary Gensler and the SEC. Furthermore, there needs to be integration, or at least initially, in my opinion. Again, right? Let me put this up here. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, old guy on the interwebs. Okay. In my opinion, there needs to be some integration between crypto and the banking system in order to do something with onboarding masses. And quite frankly, as part of some kind of transition would make things easier. Now, that being said, you guys know I have a Living on Crypto series that I've been putting together where it just shows you how to opt out of the banking system. Again, that playlist is linked in the description of this live stream. You can head on over to my YouTube channel and find that playlist. But the majority of people are not going to be doing that, right? The majority of people are going to wait until it's too late to opt out of the system and find a way to try to survive the brunt of anything that comes, whether it's a CBDC, whether it is a failing economy, whether it is hyperinflation, you name it. I mean, again, we're just under $35 trillion in debt in the United States, increasing by $1 trillion of debt every 90 days. So common sense cryptocurrency regulation makes sense to me. And in this case, we're talking about stablecoin regulation. And sorry. This comes to the point in a conversation, and we're going to play this video if I can get this thing to work out right here. Sorry, technical difficulties. Where Congressman McHenry talks about the U.S. should be a leader in Bitcoin, and he's not wrong. All this regulation through enforcement that's going on with Gary Gensler and the SEC has taken its toll on the cryptocurrency industry as a whole here in the United States and forced a lot of companies to either not deal with residents of the United States, or for companies that were inside the United States to look elsewhere to build their company that have, a positive and friendly regulatory environment for cryptocurrency. Okay. So let's give this a quick listen. Let me bring this back up like this. Let's give this a quick listen, and then we'll come back about this.
Well, because this is where the action is. I mean, this is a bastion of freedom, and it's always a welcome thing in Washington when foreign dignitaries come to town espousing freedom in a place that is that it should be deeply respected and loved. Look, the way I view Bitcoin is, what Satoshi brought into this world has been unstoppable. Every regime that's tried to shut it down has failed. Even the Chinese Communist Party that tried to shut down Bitcoin couldn't. And so it is an unstoppable piece of technology.
And I want to just stop it there for a second because he mentions China. And for those who have been around the space for a while, China kicked out all the miners and this, that, and the other thing who were mining Bitcoin. Although, in fairness, they didn't get them all out. Just saying. Because you can't. I mean, sorry. But anyway, they kicked out all the miners. A lot of them came to the U.S. The U.S. hash rate for Bitcoin mining has been through the roof ever since. Article on my website, if you want to go check that out, talking about that, cryptocoinmindset.com. Head over there and just Google up hash rate or search hash rate, and it will pop that article up for you. And listen, he's right. How many? And you've got other countries that say, no cryptocurrency. Look at what India is doing with cryptocurrency. Look at what Nigeria is doing with cryptocurrency. No, you can't do it. All the more the cryptocurrency gets used in their countries. He's referring specifically to Bitcoin here. I know a lot of people in India are also in with Ethereum, although the fees now probably make that almost impossible. But to the point, okay, to the point. All right, we're going to let him finish real quick, and then I'll talk a little bit more.
That I'm trying to convince policymakers on the Hill to embrace and for the United States to be a leader's end rather than fall behind. And I want to make sure that you all hear that message clearly. There are a lot of pretenders to the world of crypto. Some are in prison now.
And obviously that's the end of that particular clip right there. But you know what? End of day, the United States needs regulatory framework. In this case, today we've been talking about the regulatory framework for stablecoins. Again, that the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency in the United States, so basically the people who are the ones in charge of the money, have already given banks permission to run these stablecoin nodes. That's been several years now. Again, I can't remember the exact year, but I want to say it was pre-COVID. So that's for sure. Anyway, so does it not make sense at this point in time to have common sense regulation, again, in this case, for stablecoins? I mean, hello, of course it does. And furthermore, common sense regulation with regard to cryptocurrencies. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you fall on with it, I don't know. But if we don't have this, and the United States, the SEC, Gary Gensler is still allowed to continue on. And again, remember, he's no more than the puppet at this point of Elizabeth Warren, who is raising her anti-crypto army. Vote Deaton, please. Vote Deaton if you live in Massachusetts. And to me, that the way things are currently going and the actions that are currently being taken are the ones that are hurting the United States as a whole with regard to this industry, and quite frankly, to a limited degree, because again, this is a global industry, the United States may be like, again, currently the global reserve asset, but guess what? People are working around that. Look at the BRICS. We talked about that before, and slowly de-dollarizing themselves, slowly pulling away from using and needing USD in order to transact amongst, themselves. Cryptocurrency is where we're headed. Just is. And again, whether they try to make it a centralized digital currency in the form of a CBDC, which would be extremely bad for all involved. And if you're not sure why that is, again, head over, let me bring it up here, to cryptocoinmindset.com, search CBDC, and I've done a couple of extensive articles that explain exactly what CBDCs are and the potential pitfalls of having to live with a CBDC as our currency would be. And part of why, again, link in the description of this live stream, I've done and I'm continuing to do an entire series about living on cryptocurrency. So you know how to opt out of the system, how to function outside of the system when the time comes to be able to do that, or to have to do that is more. Yes, 100 Air. Vote DN is financial advice. I suppose that's true. That's true. Again, I know I've got at least 3 or 4 people here from Massachusetts on this stream, as I can see right now. If you are in Massachusetts, yes, please. If you don't know anything about John Deaton, again, link to his campaign website is in the description of the stream. If you've not donated, I would say that's a very important thing to do. The guy funded his campaign, the first part of his campaign, with $500,000 of his own money. But like anything else, he can't do it all himself. But unlike Elizabeth Warren, who didn't fund it with any of her money and is now looking for donations, and has been from the minute since before he put out his campaign notice. She was sending out for, oh my God, they MAGA people are putting this guy against me. Well, yeah, because you're doing a shitty ass job. It's that simple. What's this saying? The crypto mining episode on living on crypto series. Interesting, Automatic Beats. And you know what? Maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe. That kind of makes sense. We'll talk more about that. I like your thought process. We'll talk more about that because yes, mining can provide you with a great additional source of income in crypto. So yes, we'll do that. That's going to probably have to be a little bit later down the road. I want to get through all of the initial stuff first that's already in place and continue my thought process for the series. Next part of this series will be talking about Spritz Finance. So stay tuned for that. If all goes well, that'll be out next Thursday. If all goes well. All right. That's what I've got. I mean, I was going to talk about some lawsuits that are currently underway, but you know what? Don't need to. You guys are more than well aware of what's going on in the space. And if you're really that interested in it, then maybe I could do a whole nother stream about that. But I really appreciate the fact that everybody was here today. If you have not already subscribed, make sure you do so. I appreciate that. Trying to grow the channel and get my watch hours up. So please also share this. I really appreciate that. So I can get this monetized. And again, this is what I do full time. But it would be a lot easier if I was able to monetize YouTube. And if nothing else, I can see I got a couple of people on Facebook. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button. I really appreciate that. And I can see I got a bunch of people on YouTube. So make sure you smash that like button. Smash it up. I appreciate that very much. Very much. Thank you, Automatic Beats. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. All right. So what's going on for the rest of this week for me? So tomorrow, again, if all goes well, it'll be a quick update video on staking your HBAR in the Hashpack wallet. I'll show you the update on what I've earned so far and link you through to the other videos I did showing you how to set that up and so on. Matter of fact, I set up a second one yesterday for one of my grandchildren, and yeah, easy peasy lemon squeezy, just did the same thing I do in that video that I originally shot for you. So watch for that. If all goes well, the editing will be finished today and I'll have that dropping tomorrow. Friday, 7 p.m. Let's put it up on the screen because I know I got a lot of people here who join in, and I really appreciate all your support. Every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Crypto on the Rocks. Casual conversation, few laughs, a lot of drinks, and you come on, chat crypto, and while you're here, while you're there, you get to vote on what we're going to dollar cost average into for the week. Basically, what I'm doing is putting together, sorry, I'm trying to bring it up on the screen for you, and I'm having technical difficulties. Here we go. Basically, what I do is try to show you that, sorry, I don't know why I'm getting these alerts right now. You almost forgot to like. Come on, 100 Air. Now you got me. I know. 100 Air was on last week on Crypto on the Rocks. So that was a great stream, by the way. Hopefully you all saw that. But basically on that stream, beside you coming on, talking crypto, having a couple of laughs, couple of drinks, talking about whatever it is you're doing in crypto, you get the chance to vote for what we're going to dollar cost average into. Basically, what I try to show you every week is how you can take $25 and slowly build yourself up a nice wealth nest egg in cryptocurrency. I take 15 of that $25 every week, dollar cost average into Bitcoin. The other $10, you vote on what we're going to dollar cost average into. This first half of 2024, your choices revolve around Web3, P2E gaming, that kind of thing. So Ethereum, Beam, the Sandbox, Mana, Gala, and Axie Infinity are your choices. So I really hope that you show up this Friday and every Friday, 7 p.m. for Crypto on the Rock, 7 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate it. And so that's what's going on for the rest of this week. Actually, I got an interesting short dropping on Saturday, so make sure you watch out for that. And next week, we're going to have Tuesday, just so everybody's aware. If you're not already subscribed to the Matrix Money podcast channel, go ahead and do that. Tuesday, Jar, myself, FF should all be back at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And it's just been so hell trying to schedule it all. It just wasn't working. And watch for right now the Bitcoin halving scheduled or supposedly happening on Friday. That Friday, we're going to be doing a live stream for that as well. During that halving live stream, we're also going to be giving away a wallet. And you want the truth? I think I'm also going to be giving away another Bible and Bitcoin book. So be aware of that. And you got to be subscribed to the Matrix Money podcast channel in order to do that. Again, link to subscribe there is in the description of this live stream. So that's what's going on. That's what you'll see between now and next week. And yes, yeah, you know what? Automatic Beats, it's doing pretty well, all things being equal. I'll tell you what, it's one of the bigger gainers, Gala. And yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. That's going to do it. I hope you all, I appreciate all you being in the chat. Oh my goodness. I keep pressing the wrong buttons today. I don't know. So Automatic Beats, Crypto Jar. Look at that. I missed him. He jumped in here. Jar, thanks for being here. You got me right at the end though. We're going to be closing this out. So, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. 100 Air. Who else am I missing here? Techman. Chris Hanley, Patrick, can't forget Patrick. Who else am I missing? I'm trying to scroll through real quick to make sure. Mike, how can I forget Mike? He was the first one in the chat today. Appreciate all of you being in here, keeping that chat alive, putting out and helping me with the information to make sure I'm putting out the accurate information. So I appreciate that. So again, thanks for being here, everybody. I will see you Friday night, 7 p.m. Crypto on the Rocks. I hope you